Hey everyone, it's Justice and I'm back for an update. I'm not going to apologize for being gone, but I am going to say that I do feel bad about losing my consistency, if I ever had any. And let's just kind of catch you guys up on where I've been. So my bullet journal, I talked about it a little bit in my last video. I have really fallen off of the bandwagon. I find, which I'm thinking many of you can relate, whenever I'm in a bad place, I really try to focus on something. And that for me was my bullet journal. But after a little bit, I definitely did not allot the time or the priority to it any longer. And a lot of that I found went to no longer caring to write down what I ate. I'm not sure if I've shared this before, but I do have a problem with eating and disordered eating, and I thought that it was best if I stopped writing down what I eat, because that is something that I stress about and think about, and it takes up a lot of mental energy in my head. And so I decided to just stop focusing on it that much, because I've been doing it for years now. Honestly, it's more of in my head, I need to write this down or else I feel bad that I can't remember. But it's not something that helps me focus on eating better to guilt myself into writing down healthier foods. That doesn't happen at all. So it was really just taking up space in my head with homemade tuna melt, watermelon, tea with honey. I have to write that down. I cannot forget. Tuna melt, watermelon, tea with honey. And that was just not conducive to me living a happier life, living a healthier life. It was serving no use at all except for filler in my book. So I've nixed it out. And if you notice, a lot of days, that is the bulk of what I wrote down. There are some days where I did a little bit of journaling and where I had a little to-do list, but this is the bulk of each day. So now that I don't have that, there's really no reason to have a daily. And a daily is what's been part of my planning for years now. So I've kind of gone back and tried something different. What I did attempt to do, however, was set up a monthly spread and just do movies and shows I liked, music I liked, and then a little tracker. Which did nothing, by the way. We're almost at the very end of September and I've touched it maybe a few times and that's it. So I plan to tape over this, put some type of Airbnb magazine clipping over it, and moving forward. I'm sure I will finish this. I'm just not sure with what, now that I'm no longer needing daily pages, because that is what this was for a very long time. And instead, I've gone back to my Traveler's Company system. So here's my little weekly insert. You can see at the beginning of the year, I was just kind of writing down little bits about my day, kind of like a little 5-year journal, but just every year I would get a new insert. That was my idea. But now, I've gone back to using it as a little planner, and I'm trying not to make it pretty planning, anything like that. Just jot down what I need to know and see how that works. I may have to make it a little bit more cute later on because I'm not feeling inclined to look at this unless I absolutely need to. And that's not how I like to do planning, but we'll see how this goes, because this is how I did my planning for all the years I was in high school and a portion of college, and it worked. So we're trying to go back to basics now. And I also have my monthly insert, which I have continued to use throughout all of this. And I'm just planning out the big things that are happening so that I can transfer them to my weeklies whenever I get there, to kind of compartmentalize and make it less looking at this and saying, oh my gosh, there's so much to do right in these 3 weeks, I can't focus, instead of we are going in this chunk. And that's what I'm doing there. And I always keep a little jot pad with me so I can write down things whenever I'm bored in public and all that stuff. And something that has been very intriguing to me in this period of no longer using daily pages is writing more in my diary. Because as you see, this diary has gone well over a year now of being used, or not used rather. And since I'm no longer worried about writing things in a way that look pretty for my daily spread because there's really not much there, I've been delving more into my diary. And that has honestly been really nice. The paper is really nice. I love this book. It's a Tomoe River paper, Nanami paper, like Nanami paper as the brand, Crossfield in the A5 size. And this has been one of my favorite notebooks. I purchase it every single time. I always have something going in this notebook. Thing is, they last forever, so this is only my third one. And I fully intend to continue buying them because they're amazing. But I have been writing a whole lot more in this, and that makes me incredibly happy. The paper is amazing. The feeling of my pen putting ink on this paper is amazing. The only thing I am not a huge fan of is the size, and so I did purchase an A6 version to use after this. And honestly, it's probably going to be another year because I'm not even halfway through. But mark my words, whenever this is done, I'm moving to my A6 Stalogy to kind of see how that goes. And if I decide that I do like the A6 size, I'll be purchasing the Cafe Note. And the Cafe Note isn't exactly A6, but it's close enough to that little pocket hand size. What I'm mainly worried about is getting to the bottom of the page and having to do the weird hand crampy thing over and over and over again because there are less pages. But that is also conducive to finishing my books quicker. And although I love not having to buy this notebook a ton of times, I also do like having my finished notebooks in sections throughout the year instead of having one notebook that spans multiple phases of life. Because that to me is messy. And it may not be to other people, but in my brain, having it have all of these different stages of my life together is very confusing. Because I see this book and I see that I got it during Hurricane Irma. We've since had Hurricane Michael and then a few tropical storms this year. I've had a nephew be born. I've had an entire career change twice. All of that. And it's weird to me seeing all of that in this book as opposed to separate volumes of my life. But enough rambling. That is my journal update. This one is going to be retired for the time being. And when I say that, I do not mean I'm going to put it away completely unused, because I just don't do that. I'm going to put it away until I have another use for it, or until I finish this and then come back, or until I get bored with this and come back. I don't leave notebooks unfinished. It's just a neurotic thing I can't do. I have my diary and I have my on-the-go planner wallet combo. But thank you guys so much for staying with me, watching things with me, and continuing to believe in me. It does mean a lot, and I hope that you all have a lovely day.